Now, the man we've known for decades as Prince Charles, as we now know, will be crowned King Charles this weekend. But what's Charles actually like? Look, I spent a month with him and Princess Diana in 1983, traipsing from one side of Australia to the next on one of the very famous royal tours. She was a heap of fun, Diana. The crowds loved her. Charles seemed a lot more reserved, but that was a very long time ago. Joining me now to give an insight into who our next monarch is royal photographer Chris Jackson, who's at Canada Gate outside Buckingham Palace. Chris, great to join us. Coronation will be a serious affair, but I've read that you say the King has a more playful side. You've obviously seen it, have you?
Yeah, good morning. I've photographed him and the Queen for 20 years now, and he does bring a real energy to everything he does. He's got a great sense of humour. Well, both of them have a great sense of humour, and I think that certainly makes my job a lot more enjoyable. Of course, there's a lot of pomp and ceremony in what they do day to day as members of the royal family, but it's that kind of behind the scenes, those more relaxed moments that I love capturing as a photographer.
Is he a good portrait to capture? He has an expressive face, obviously, and you capture that so well. Is that important for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he is great to photograph. He brings a real energy. He's got this amazing ability to connect with people from different cultures and societies all around the world. He loves a royal walkabout. We only saw recently in Hamburg, thousands of people came out for that state visit outside the town hall, and he took the time to meet as many people as possible. And I think that's something that both of them try and do whenever they go and wherever they go, be it in the UK or around the world.
Have you got a favourite Charles photograph that you've taken? I mean, there's so many I know, but do you have one that really particularly sticks out?
Now, you're putting me on the spot here. It's difficult to choose. I've got quite a lot. I took one recently of the King when he became Ranger of Windsor Great Park, a role that his father held for 70 years. And it's him leaning up against a 600-year-old oak tree. And I just love the symbolism of that for a man who loves being around nature, in nature. It kind of meant so much. So that's probably one of my favourite, but there's definitely a few over the years. Some of the more kind of light-hearted moments. I've got a shot of him kind of vacuuming my trousers in Singapore, and some of the kind of quieter and more formal and the family moments. So they all sort of split into different categories, but he's great to photograph.
Yeah, we're seeing some of your wonderful shots now. They're just absolutely sensational. Tell me if I'm reading too much into this, but he seems very happy and relaxed when he's with Camilla.
Yeah, certainly. I think, for two people who are stepping up to the biggest role in their lives at an age where many people are retiring, it's essential that you work as a team, and they certainly are a very successful team. I think what is key to their success with that is being able to take a moment at times, recharge, and then come back with a renewed energy. For a man who, completes up to 8 engagements in a day on royal tour, he doesn't have lunch, he's got this kind of energetic approach, and it's pretty difficult to keep up with him, to be honest.
During the Queen's Jubilee, we all were very much entertained by Prince Louis, and he's pointing at the aircraft and laughing and playing up. You're going to have your camera trained on Louis at some point up on the balcony?
Yeah, he was, looking back at the Jubilee, it was just such a special weekend, and those were obviously things that we all remember. He was definitely the star of the show, certainly at the pageant the next day. Yeah, I will be there to capture as many of those moments as possible. And what I love about it as a royal photographer is you don't quite know exactly how it's going to pan out. And I think the Jubilee was a prime example of that. But it's definitely a weekend we'll never forget here in the UK.
Oh, I think those pictures of young Louis playing up on the balcony were sensational. You got a lot of pressure on you across the weekend, Chris, but I know, given how great a photographer you are, that it'll work out brilliantly. So thank you very much for joining us, giving us a bit of time. Have a great coronation on the weekend.